Then you have a interpretation dispute. Party A would say, no, you should interpret it this way. The judge would say, yeah, but the way it's written made party B interpret it in a different way. And I can see that it's a legit interpretation. And party B would say, yeah, you should interpret it like this. And the judge will repeat the same thing to party B. Yeah, but party B, it's written like this. And the way party A interpreted it, is different. And I can see why party A interpreted like that. And so in that case, you would look at.
Let's start with the announcement.
Rapper Flo Rida is suing a well-known energy drink company based in Boca Raton. Flo Rida, whose real name is Tramar Dillard, taking his case to court today, filing a civil suit in Broward County against the company that markets Celsius. He claims that Celsius owes him millions of dollars in bonuses, stocks, incentives, and royalty payments. Flo Rida's lawyer says the entertainer played an essential role in helping Celsius launch its brand 9 years ago, that the company failed to uphold its terms of the contract.
It was basically a very vague contract. They were talking about units. If he would sell certain amount of units, he would get rewarded with shares and units of a specific product. But it was not detailed what units were. Is unit a case? A single can? Who knows? There were also no end date, no specific end date referenced in the contract. RJ, what kind of contract is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused actually because, or was it? So I read somewhere, and I don't know if you mentioned it, but it was as part of the deal. He got 1% of a 1% stake in the company. Are you saying the compensation with regards to unit was, let's say, a separate agreement?
No, it's part of that.
But it's not part of the 1% though, right?
He would have gotten percentages. Every percentage, every target he would hit, he would get shares, and that would amount to 1%.
Oh, so it's a type of a vesting type of structure.
Kind of a vesting performance vesting, basically.
Yeah.
It's more performance though. It's not vesting.
And what was your question then?
What kind of contract is that? Not that part. I mean the vague part, where they don't specify anything. No time, not what units are.
That's a startup contract. That's probably a guy who went on. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is, but sometimes in contract you want to keep things vague. So sometimes you want to be as clear as possible, and sometimes you want to keep things vague, so that if a problem arises, you would then go talk and settle. I'll just give an example. If no, let me not give an example. Just talk about a strategy that companies use. So larger companies or companies in general, it's not uncommon for them to use litigation, so court proceedings, as part of a strategy, a business strategy. Okay. So what they would do is they would perform, let's say, 80 to 90%, and then they would start a beef over something, and then say, okay, then we need to negotiate and pay, for example, 5% or 4% instead of the less 10%. So it could have been that, but I haven't seen the contract myself to see exactly what was agreed upon. What I do know is that if I'm the lawyer of the company, then I would want to make sure. So this is my logic, my way of reasoning. I want to make sure that my client, that is the company, gets the most out of the deal. And more specifically, I want to make sure that the other party doesn't get compensated without performance, right? So for that reason, I don't see why you would choose for a vague contract in a situation like that. This it was in case it's in cases like these, in situations like these, partnerships like these, where it's more important to say, well, if you reach this, and then you have to describe what this is, of course. So you need to have at the start of the contract. You can have it at the start of the contract or in the contract. You need to have you need to define what it is. So if you reach A, and then you define what A is and how A is measured, then you would get this. If you don't have it, then you have a interpretation dispute, and the judge will look at you, will look at both parties, and the judge will say, yeah, but party A would say, no, you should interpret it this way. The judge would say, yeah, but the way it's written made party B interpret it in a different way. And I can see that it's a legit interpretation. And party B would say, yeah, but it's not like you should interpret it like this. And the judge will repeat the same thing to party B. Yeah, but party B, it's written like this. And the way party A interpreted it, is different. And I can see why party A interpreted like that. And so in that case, you would look at the judge would need to find so using logic, because some people think the judges can just decide for themselves. No, they need to motivate their decision. So the judge would need to look at the contracts, look at what parties say was the intention at the beginning of the contract, because that also plays a role. What party's intention was. So maybe the intention, if it's it's clear that Flo Rida was there to help the company because the company was not that popular. The company wasn't popping like that, and Flo Rida basically came in and made it. So that's the reason why they entered into the partnership with Flo Rida, but they couldn't pay Flo Rida, so they entered into a different deal. Things like these. It's like information like these that will lead the judge to an interpretation of what the intention of the parties were at the beginning, and that will definitely help the judge reach a certain conclusion. It's not like the judge will say, yeah, I don't like your face, so you're gonna lose this.
Yeah, that's basically how they described the process. So they had to first, before they went to the jury, they had to stipulate what is in the contract. That's also one thing that they talked about in certain articles and also in the interviews. So basically, the judge, like you said, and so you're on point there. The judge had to read the contract and try to see.
I'm on point there.
Yeah, I think this one is better.
Perfect.
They had to make an agreement. Okay, this is what this means. In order to go to the jury, in order for them to understand what it says, and then basically come to a verdict.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the jury would have maybe interpreted their own way.
Yeah.
That might be even worse, because most people cannot read legal language, right?
Yeah.
Well, rappers cannot read, at least. That's what I heard.